Hi, I'm Margot with TheWrap, and we're here with Ian Somerhalder to talk about V-Wars, out December 5th. So the question on everyone's mind is, why another vampire show?
I knew it. Right out of the gate. You're the wrap. That's a wrap.
We ask the hard questions here.
Yeah, man.
It's the 10-year anniversary of Vampire Diaries this year, too, so it's kind of an interesting coincidence.
Yeah, you know, it is. Yes, I could totally understand and recognize why that would be sort of a question. I love the genre. I want to say I've learned a pretty good amount about the genre over the last decade, 8 years on television. And it's an amazing genre. It's got a lot of legs. There's a lot of places to go. There's always some sort of evolutionary component of the vampire. However, this is very different. I'm not playing a vampire. I play a scientist. And the way these vampires come about is more medical. It's medical based and science based. And what got me hooked into this realm, this whole world was that because of, and this isn't some what people call sort of like liberal hoopla. It is a known fact that because of rampant glacial deterioration and the melting of a lot of the Earth's ice, places like permafrost is melting. Now, what happens when all of that biomass is exposed from the melting ice? This isn't just something that we hear in our own echo chambers, right? This is stuff that we're hearing all over the world right now. And scientists are incredibly concerned by what has been perfectly and safely trapped under that ice for millennia or hundreds of millennia. And the story goes, we uncover this piece of some biomass, and in it is a prion, which, you know what a prion is?
I don't.
Remember Mad Cow?
Yes.
That was a prion. It's a protein that changes shit and makes things very bad. So this is spreading like wildfire. On Vampire Diaries, Damon was very charismatic, very fun, very sexy, he was a lunatic. And he was kind of an asshole, but everyone liked him. And I don't know, I think maybe it's because he had a certain vulnerability to him. He really enjoyed what he did. Luther Swan is such a nice, normal dude.
And not a vampire.
He's not
at all a vampire.
He's not a vampire. And, you know, coming off of Vampire Diaries and playing Damon for so long, I wanted to find a character who was a superhero, but his superpowers were just being a good dad. You know, look, typically vampires they're pretty, even when they're all vamped out, they can still like tell jokes and they can be sexy. Yeah. The vampires in our show, if you were in a room with these people, well, first of all, you probably wouldn't make it out, but you would.
So they're not like Edward Cullen kind of vampires.
You would run for your life.
They're not sexy vampires at all.
They're not
sexy. It leans more horror.
They're not sexy vampires. It leans into more of horror. For me, V-Wars is the really big what if. What happens when there are so many bloods that commercial air travel ceases?
Is blood, is that the
Oh yeah, so the vampires are called bloods.
They're called bloods.
So what happens when there are so many vampires that, because it's going to spread, and it's going to spread fast. And there's a 1 in 4 infection rate. So 1 in 4 people will be infected. That's insane. If you were to think about, I mean, there's 7.4 billion of us. 25% of 7.4 billion people is a lot of people. So you're talking about real societal change, right? Like what Lost did, which is rebuilding society. How do you do that? Mm-hmm. So if you sit and look at what sort of holds up this sort of world we live in, what happens when commercial airlines have to change and bloods have their own? What happens when there's another mortgage crisis? Because this is like cancer, right? This is affecting homes and communities. What happens when people are sick and they're not paying their mortgages? What happens when telecommunications companies can't function, or utility companies, or credit card companies? What happens in grocery stores? You know, this sort of when these start to fall apart a little bit, you have total societal chaos.
So is this a Netflix and chill kind of show, or no?
It's a Netflix and chill. Yeah, Netflix and chill.
Okay.